Hi everyone and welcome to another Flosstube video. Today is Flosstube 18. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It warms my heart that you want to spend some time with me. If you are new here, hi, my name is Marika. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, where I live with my boyfriend and my two cats, and this is a channel all about cross stitching. Today is jam-packed. We have everything except fully finished the objects because I haven't been home, so I haven't been able to do them. Last weekend I was at a retreat for the weekend. It is a smaller retreat and I will talk a little bit about that later. Also this week I went a little start crazy. So yeah, this week, the 1st of February, the Be Mine sale started. And Be Mine sale is kind of an encompassing idea of stitching Valentine projects throughout the whole month of February. It is started by Kimberly from Fat Quarter Stitches, Fat Quarter Shop, and it has been running for I think 3 years. I found kind of notes about 3 years. Anyhow, where you stitch Valentine all through the month, and like it's a very open-ended sale, so you can stitch on one project, you can have new starts every week, or you can start something every day. And when I went into this, I'm like, I'm going to start something every day, but yeah, no, that didn't happen. By day 6 I was so burnt out, so I even stopped stitching for a couple of days. I played World of Warcraft instead, which, by the way, the new release, super fun. I haven't played World of Warcraft for years and now I'm back and it's super fun. Anyhow, this is all about cross stitching, so we're not going to go into that. Anyhow, I have a bunch of finishes throughout and I have bought a bunch of patterns. I wasn't supposed to, however, we didn't have to pay as much last month as I was expecting. When we went into that, both me and Christopher felt like it's going to be a very, very tight month. It didn't end up being that, which super awesome, super great. So I've been purchasing some things, but mainly things that I've been working on. So yes, the first thing I did purchase was all of the back magazines of the World of Cross Stitching on the World of Cross Stitching app. So I did collect the magazines, the paper magazines from like 2004 and onwards, and about a year ago I gave them away, the whole set, to one person. I didn't want to spend the time to try to sell them on eBay, sending them, it's a lot of work. So instead I just gave them to another home, to someone that really needed them. There's a lot of stitchers out there that doesn't have the money to buy patterns and magazines and everything, and I felt that giving it all away to one person, it would help that person, basically. Anyhow, I now have them on my iPad, and if to buy the all of the back magazines, I think it was like 138, you would pay about $70 in that area. I think it was like $75 in Swedish money, so I don't know how much it would be in dollars or pounds. It all depends on which currency your app is in, so I don't know. But it was about around that amount, and I think if you would buy them for the base price, you would have to pay over $900. So it was a really, really good deal, and I really like the magazines, and I do go back and buy one now and then, a back thing, so I decided just to buy all of them. And one of the reasons for that was they had 6 Valentine's cards. They had a lot of Valentine's projects. I actually bookmarked a bunch of projects when I went through the magazines. But this is from the February 2015 magazine, issue 225. The kind of set is called Valentine cards, and this specific one is called Together Forever, and it is these cute little foxes that are hugging or holding their hands, and it says love you. And this is stitched on, I think, 18 count white Aida in the sharded DMCs, and I stitched one. It took me 5 or 6 hours. It actually took me a lot longer than I was expecting, and then I just felt that I didn't want to stitch the rest of them. But yeah, this one is cute. It's gonna become a pillow, I think, and that was project number 1, my start and finish from day 1. From day 2 was the day I traveled to Manchester, so I had a lot of time in the airport, I had time on the airplane, didn't stitch on the train because I was very stressed not getting off at the right station, but it was the end station, so I don't know why I was stressed. Anyhow, it was I Love You, a latte, and I stitched a lot, and then I had to unstitch a lot because I miscounted on the frame. So I started with a frame on this. This is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It is stitched on 14 count Vintage Toffee by Swagart in the sharded DMCs, and the black is the C310, which is the Etoile. I tried the Etoile. It was actually fairly nice to stitch with. I really like to stitch with it. But yeah, it has a couple of mistakes that I opted not to fix. This little bean here has one too many stitches of the black, and this little dot here is, I think it's supposed to be just a snap higher, but I just didn't want to change those because I actually unpicked both the pink and the black of this like bottom, well, the two sides and the bottom, because something I missed when I started stitching this is that between every one of these there is 2 blank spaces between the two these little black pieces. However, up here and down there it is supposed to be 3. So yeah, I had to unstitch a lot, and I did kind of start and finish every one of these little pieces. So that thread was just throwaway because it wasn't long enough to stitch those pieces again. And also, unraveling Etoile isn't the easiest part. But yeah, this is going to be a flat lay when I have purchased some new poster board. Day 3, I had a new start, but that is a new start / work in progress, so we're going to get to that later. Day 4, I started the Your Wonderful. By the way, the Your Latte and Your Wonderful I finished on a later date, so yeah, I kind of stitched that on the 7th and the 8th. But this is Your Wonderful. It's also by Frosted Bumps Stitchery, and if I'm not mistaken, this was actually a free project, and it was from, I have Ravelry in my head, but it definitely isn't Ravelry because that is a knitting site. But there is a forum site where all of the different topics are /r. You probably know what it is, but my mind just don't. Reddit, that was deep in me. It's Reddit. Reddit has actually a very like active cross-stitch community, and they do have a /r for Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and when they found out, they thought it was great, and they made a free pattern, and I think this is it. And that is Your Wonderful. And I decided that these two would work great together by my coffee nook. Everything is going to be by my coffee nook when we have moved around our furniture back to where they were supposed to be. This is most likely going to be a pillow, might be a flat lay, kind of depends on my mood at that time. I think this took 3 days. I think this took about 3 days too. Maybe, yeah, 3 days maybe. I have been working on them kind of intermingling. Day 5, which was the day that I traveled home, my new start was this one, which is X's and O's. This was a freebie from Shannon Christine Designs. This is stitched on, again, the same piece of 14 count Vintage Toffee by Swagart. I bought like 6 or 7 pieces of 14 and 18 count fabrics that was colored when I was in the US. I never hauled all of the things that I bought in the US because I didn't end up recording directly after, but I did buy a bunch of fabric, and I'm going to show you them kind of continuously. But I got all these, I got these 3 pieces, 3 projects out of one 11 by 18 piece of fabric. So, and I realized afterwards that I might actually have gotten more projects out of that if I had placed them differently on the fabric. I didn't really calculate that, but yeah, I do have a smaller piece left. So if I have something in the size of this, maybe I could make that also. So you get a lot of projects out of smaller pieces of fabrics. But yes, those were the finishes that I had. Now we're going to go to work in progress. And work in progress is basically projects that I started before last week's video. And I only have one that I've been working on, and that is the Christmas house by Artisy. And this is how far I've come. Still have it in my frame because I don't want to take it out of the frame. But basically I made like 600 stitches in this area. Just trying to get this piece out. Because I'm going to stitch on it a little bit differently afterwards. But yeah, 600 stitches, there you go. It's not so much to see, but this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And that was all of the work in progress. Now we're going to talk about the new starts, because I do have a couple more of the Valentine projects, but the first one I actually started the 31st of January, so before my Valentine craze, and it's called Hop On In. And this one is another one that where I kind of restarted. I'm gonna move my needle a little bit so you don't have the thread on it. So let's see if I can get this right. So Nicole, I've talked about her before. She has Stitching with Nicole on Facebook. She has her Nicole kind of card making and cross stitching group. I did a sale with her last year, which was this like chalkboard, more like Christmassy chalkboard cocoa thing, which I really like, but I still haven't finished. Or I finished the cross stitching, I haven't fully finished it yet. Well, she's going to host a stitch along that starts the 13th. Which is a hands-on design. Is it that? More hands-on design. Her is more chocolate bunnies, but when she announced it all, she also told us that there were a companion project from Hands-on Design, and that the creator behind Hands-on Design actually made it into a PDF and put it up on her store so you could buy that as a PDF. Previously it only been in paper form, because one of the things that Nicole does is that she only do stitch-alongs with projects that you can get in PDF forms, so that all her international peeps can join in. So I decided to stitch both of them. This is a piece of Vintage Blue, I think it is. So this doesn't have that like mottling effect that the Vintage Toffee has, but it's Vintage Blue by again by Swag Art. It is an 18 by 11 piece. And on one side of it I have started the Hop On In, which was the companion project. So I do want to start the excellent More Chocolate Bunnies project on the 13th together with the stitch along. So I did start the Hop On In. However, I had stitched all of the Hop On, which is going to be here. Or Hop On In, I think it says Hop On In here. But I went with the shorted color, which was the 503, I think, DMC, which was way too close in tone for this fabric. I could hardly see it like in real life, and on camera you didn't see it at all. So what I did was I picked up a brown color that didn't came in this project but was a part of the Chocolate Bunny project, and decided to use that, and that actually looks great. So they use the same colors, and the those like sulky threads, those were the ones that it is sharded for initially, but it does have a DMC conversion, and I'm using DMC because I'm a DMC girl and everything is DMC at the moment. So I'm using the DMC conversion when I'm stitching it on this 14 count Vintage Blue. So yeah, that is the new start from the 31st, which I then put down into my bag so that I could stitch on my new starts. So for day 3 of my new starts, you have seen day 1, 2, 4 and 5. I had finished all of them, but day 3 was part of a mystery stitch along for the Fat Quarter shop, and it's called the Love Potion, and I got piece number 4 on day 3, so the 3rd of February, and I got piece number 1 on the 3rd, and then I got piece number 2 on this Friday, and I haven't finished it all. I still have, as you can see, finished that heart. It's going to be a bigger heart here, and then it's going to be a border, and I have a little bit down here, and then I have finished the 2 pieces for this. So this is a mystery stitch along. It hasn't been released fully yet, so this will go all through February. So I will have hopefully a finished piece every week to show you, to be finished by the end of February. And then we have my last new start that I did, which I started on the 6th, and that is the Primrose Cottage Stitches Loads of Love sale. So last fall I started stitching a little truck and a little border and stuff from Primrose Cottage Stitches for fall or for autumn, and they have a Christmas one, they have a Valentine one, they have an Easter one, and I really liked it, and I've been looking at this pattern, kind of deciding if I'm going to stitch it or not. And then when I got home from the retreat, well, while I was traveling home, I did some Instagram watching looking, and then I realized that they were doing the Loads of Love sale, and I decided I'm gonna join it. So I have stitched part 1 and part 2. The pattern is the full pattern, it's just that they have divided it into pieces. So I could stitch everything at once, but I just want to kind of keep up with the sale, which also means that I can have a little more stitches on the go without feeling too stressful, because I can then feel like, yeah, but I'm not going to start this until Monday. So then I have all of these days where I can stitch the other things. It's a mental thing, you know, it's a mental thing. So this is where I am. Yeah, it is, the border is the first piece. So the green border that goes around with the bluish green border. And then the second week was the text at the bottom and the banner at the top. And I finished the banner yesterday, I think. Yes, yesterday. So in this, it has 2 weeks dye works, which I have replaced with DMC. And in this case, they didn't have the conversion in the chart. So I went online and just Googled weeks dye works to DMC, and I found 2 colors too, and I think that it is like 946 for the green, and then which was one of the weeks, and then the other weeks was this was a 3350 that I replaced it with. So it's not this is the 3350 that I replaced the other one with. So those were the kind of replacement that I did all on my own, because I don't really have any very variegated thread. I know that I have like 2 or 3 weeks that I got in a kit for Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. When I started stitching Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, it was like 2014-15. I've been stitching them for a long time. I did a couple of their like fairy tale series that were, some of them were stitch-alongs, and then I bought the whole kit. So I got the fabric, the threads, and everything in a kit. However, delivery time on those are fairly long to here in Sweden. Whether I buy them from the UK or buy them from the US, it's about the same delivery time. Don't know why. But yeah, so I have been starting to just stitching DMC. I am kind of considering kind of looking into what kind of colors I really like, and maybe pick up some like color ones that are variegated. Just a couple of variegated, so I have something to choose from. Anyhow, that was all of the stitching for today. Let's get to haul. Yes, we're gonna do haul, which is going to go into the retreat a little bit. I have a few different things that I have bought this week. The first thing I did, I bought these 2 weeks. First thing, these like bookbinder rings. So I had a couple of these that I got in with like, I think, ribbon bundles. We have a stitching fair, or a handicraft fair, sells a lot of fabrics and yarns and a little bit of cross stitching. And a couple of years ago they had a very big section of paper crafts, so I went there to buy a bunch of those, and then I bought like ribbons for that, and I bought them on these rings. So I had a couple of rings at home, and now that I've started to make more projects and I'm converting all my bobbins into like little drops with all the threads on, I need more. So I bought 2 different packages from Amazon. I can probably get away with a lot cheaper if I buy a bigger pack, but I didn't know which sizes I wanted and everything, so I bought 2 smaller packs, and this is one of the bigger ones, and then I bought slightly smaller ones. But yeah, so rings, have a lot of these. These are called bookbinding rings. If you are looking for rings like these and had a problem finding them, bookbinding rings are the name for them. The next thing that I bought is this. This is 3 meter of the 630, I think it is. Yes, 630. It is a fairly thin, but still batting with, it's an iron-on batting, so you would iron it on your fabric. And this is meant to be for project bags. I want to make all of the project bags right now, and I had to go with my 80-20 batting, and I felt it was a little bit too puffy. I want to have a fairly thin but still soft bag, and also this is, even though it's thin, it's much more sturdier in the material, so I'm really happy about it. So I got 3 meters. It weighs basically nothing. When I got the box, I'm like, first of all, the box looked way too small to have 3 meters, and also it didn't weigh anything, so I'm like, is it going to be empty? But it wasn't. It had all of this in it. So for the last of my haul is actually very connected to the retreat. So I thought I'd just go through the retreat and then show you the last of the haul. Then I have my little giveaway and then we're done for the day. This is getting to be a very long video and I'm starting to be tired, so let's jump into this. So the retreat I went to is a smaller retreat. It is a invite-only retreat. I am very lucky to be one of the people in that group that can join this retreat. We are a group of friends that meet at the retreat venue. They're the person that take care of the retreat, Joanne Bird. She also have 2 other retreating crew that you can join, so you can be in those. Those are open for the public, but there's only like 40 people that she only make for tops 40 people per retreat, because anything over that is overwhelming, it's too much. But this little group is just a teeny tiny little group. I think we're around 20-25 people in total. This year we were 19 people, with me included, at the retreat. 18 that stayed at the hotel and 1 that just had a day where she visited. So because it is such a closed retreat and we're all friends, it's kind of a much calmer kind of way of being, and I really enjoyed it. I just felt so much easier, being that not only am I extremely introverted, but I also have a lot of social anxieties. I'm most likely neurodivergent. So for me, being in big groups of people really stresses me out. This was the best retreat I've been at. I felt really comfortable all through it. And I think MJ was the person that really made this retreat very comfortable. Like, I felt from that day just welcomed in. So I'm really happy. MJ and me haven't really talked a lot previously, and I really felt that we were connecting, so super happy about that. But yeah, it was a great retreat. Because it is a small retreat, we don't really have any vendors or anything in that retreat. It's just people meeting at a hotel, spending the weekend stitching and chatting, eating the food that are in the ticket prices and the hotel prices. So it is dinner on the Friday, breakfast, lunch and dinner on the Saturday, and then it is breakfast and lunch on the Sunday. Didn't eat lunch on the Sunday because we traveled to the airport before that. But yeah, I flew out on the Thursday because I have a preferred company to fly with, which is SAS, and by flying with them I get points. Those points can go to free trips or reduced price trips or free upgrades, and with us actually traveling to the US all the time, that helps. Also, by flying with them and using their credit cards to pay with, I have been able to get up to gold level, and by being on gold level I actually can I have the gold lounge, which means I'm not in the middle of the airport. I get food, I get coffee, I get all of those things free. I don't have to pay for them in the airport, which is awesome. Anyhow, I traveled there. This is the first time I travel on my own since before the panini. So yeah, it was being introverted, social phobias, everything. Traveling is mentally fairly hard, even though I really like airports. Don't know why. Maybe because everyone has a place to be, that everyone is heading somewhere and they don't really have time to care about me, and I can just watch them running around doing their things. Anyhow, I traveled on the Thursday afternoon because that was the thing. SAS only had flights Thursday evening or Friday evening, and by going the Friday evening I would miss the whole Friday, so I didn't really want to do that. So I went on the Thursday evening. I traveled from from Arlanda here in Stockholm to Manchester airport. I was super stressed. I flew only with carry-on because I know I had a very short time between my flight landing and the train going, and then we were 15 minutes delayed on top of that, so I was super stressed. But I did hit the train to crew, and I did take 1 extra day on the crew hotel, and then I unbooked it because I don't know. So I ended up going to another hotel for that night, and I didn't like that. So next time I know how to do it. But I did all of this on my own. I got all the cabs and all the trains and everything all on my own, which I feel so proud of myself. It's one of these things that where when I don't do it, I slowly kind of think that I can't, and then I do it and I'm like, I can do this. I feel so strong. So yeah, that was the thing. So I woke up early on Friday morning, headed out, took a cab out to the hotel, which is a bit outside. It is like a conference hotel by a golf course. It has like golfing people. It has a like wedding venue, stuff like that. Went there. I was the first person, well, 2 people that actually were at the venue, but they were in their hotel sleeping, so I was very early. I just sat down with my stitching in the atrium and stitched, and then people came in and we could chat, and everything was super nice. It was a great day. Anyhow, I did have a little bit of haul, as I said, and that is because one of the people that attend the retreat is Sam from Chromatic Alchemy, and she had her second box with her. So basically it is her plastic box where she puts fabric that she can't really sell in the store because they have issues from the dyeing, but being that we are her friends, everything, we can go through that, look at the different fabrics and see what we want, because some of them has some spots, colored spots on them, some of them has, so it's something that if you buy this online you would be pretty disappointed if you get the fabric. So she just put them in the box, and then we could go through them, pick the fabrics that we wanted, and then we paid for them, of course, but with a reduced cost, just because, and they are individually priced because some of them has more or less things on them. So I bought just all of these are Aidas, and I think they're like 16, 18, maybe 20. When you dye fabric, they are reduced in size, so I actually don't know exactly which fabric is which, but they are all Aidas. So the first one I have is this beautiful purple grey fabric, which I really like, and the issue for this is that it is sprinkled, let's see if I can get that, sprinkled with these like little blue dots, so and they are not very even on it, but it is beautiful purple and grey fabric, and some of these pieces are really big, so my idea is to make a whole bunch of smalls out of this, a whole bunch of small projects. Really like the fabric, maybe do something big, I don't know. It's beautiful, it's fairly small count, so I think this is 16 count that is dyed, so it's a little bit smaller than 16 count. Then I have this, which it didn't get mottled all the way, so this first piece here is mottled, and then this piece on the other side is not mottled at all, so it has a very distinct border across it, as you can see. So this I most likely will be again doing either smalls or split it in half. Sorry, I have kitty hair everywhere because the kitty hair kind of gets stuck on the edges of the fabric, and then when I fold them up they're just everywhere. The third piece is this like teeny tiny little green piece. I really like it because it's like foresty green, so it would be perfect for like a Christmas smalls or something. This is, I think, the smallest count. It does have some like spotting and stuff, but I really don't mind it. I really like this. So that's the third, and the fourth looks very much like my vintage blue. Very much like my vintage blue. It has a little pink dot up here, and otherwise I think it's not super mottled, but I kind of like it. I really like it. So those were all the fabrics that I picked up from the second box. There were a lot of different fabrics in that second box, but what I kind of look for when I look for a hand-dyed fabric is subtle coloring. So what I like with these is that this one, it's very slightly mottled. This is hardly not mottled at all. The mottling again is very tone on tone, and this it was just gorgeous. But again, it is tone on tone. I don't go for I want my fabrics to have very little kind of contrast differences. So when hand-dyed fabric starts to having a lot of contrast, it starts to affect the project that you stitch. And in many cases that might be what you want to do, but I kind of, to make it easy for me to add more color in my cross stitching, more color in the fabrics, I start out with these kind of slightly mottled one that doesn't have a high contrast or a high value. So contrast is basically between black and white. So if you have a very light base and then you have a very dark mottling on top, that will show much more than if you have a white with just slightly darker mottling, kind of, and that's the contrast. Anyhow, that was the retreat, that was the haul that I had at a retreat. Now I have the last thing left. So the last thing that we have on the docket is the giveaway. So I probably should have done this when I had my release, but I didn't because I forgot. But I want to celebrate that we actually have surpassed 400 subscribers, which we did the retreat weekend, which was super awesome. So this, because we have surpassed 400 subscribers on this channel, I wanted to give away my newest shirts, which are my Valentine series, and you would get one of each of this shirt for the Valentine series. So hugs and kisses, love you lots, and be mine. Those are the three shirts that came out in this series. I will give it to 2 people, and the way this goes, you have to be over 18 to enter, because you need to be able to give me your address. I want you to write something with love in your comment. If you use the word love in your comment, you will be in to win. As I said, I will draw 2, and I will announce the winner in the next week's video. That's the only way I'm going to do it. Lately, I haven't had the issue, but so many of the people that I follow have the issue that there are bots that go out and say, hi, you have won, please go to this Telegram app, use the Telegram app to contact me. I would never do that, and previous years I have contacted in the comments. I will no longer do that, so that you don't get confused. Instead, I am going to loudly tell who the person have won. I will also add their names and everything on the screen, and I will then also add my email in the little like description part. So if I announce your name in next week's video that you have won, you then just go to that email and give me your address and tell me your name and like your YouTube name and all of those things. So that is how we're going to do it going forward. If you miss that I shout your names, or if someone misses that their name is out, the upcoming video from that, so you have 1 week to claim, 1 week to send your email, and if you haven't, I will give away these to someone else, because that is how it's going to be. Anyhow, again, use the word love, be over 18, and you can be in to win one of the 2 sets of shirts that I'm giving away. So yeah, that was all for this week. This past 2 weeks, it's been intense. It's been really, really intense. I've been really having speech impediment issues and such because my migraines has been really, really bad. But I have my treatment on Friday, so I should be better. Yeah, migraine. I mostly have the migraine aura. I have had some headaches, but mostly the migraine auras. And the migraine auras make me hard to speak. I don't find words properly. And I'm also quite tired from everything, shaking and stuff. So I'm trying to do this in the morning before it gets worse. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with another Flosstube video. So hopefully I have gotten some things done on my projects. So yeah, see you next week. Bye!